Yo, what is up, guys? It's Pedro here. So, the Washington Commanders just had a last-second touchdown to beat the Dallas Cowboys. They finished the season 12-5. They secure the sixth seed, and hey, all is good at least for now. Marcus Mariota, the hero of the game, Terry McLaurin breaks the all-time Washington Redskins Commanders Washington football team touchdown record in his season in terms of receiving touchdowns with 13. So shout out to him. And yeah, let's get into it. So the Commanders, it wasn't pretty, but they ended up winning 23-19. The first half was ugly. They ended up not benching Jaden, but they took him out of the game. I'm not going to go into that too much. I just didn't agree with the decision necessarily. I mean, I guess they want to keep him safe, but you're essentially, and hey, I guess they felt confident about Mariota, and that ended up being, it ended up working out. But you were essentially at that point maybe you're like conceding, okay, it's fine if we don't get the sixth seed, but it is what it is. It worked out in the end. Jaden wasn't having his best game. It was a combination of, all right, on one play, maybe Jaden would miss, and then the next play, the receiver, Jaden would throw a nice pass and the receiver would miss it. Terry had a drop with Jaden. Zacchaeus had a drop with a dime from De'Ami Brown. Zacchaeus had another drop with Jaden. So it was a little bit of a combination of the receivers and the quarterbacks just not working really well together in the first half. Second half, though, Marcus Mariota, I don't have the stats in front of me, about to go on a little bit vacation, so I don't have my computer in front of me. It's just my phone. But Mariota maybe had two incompletions. One of them was a long pass to Bates, which Bates should have made that catch. Terry ended up with 60 yards, had that touch, and I said it. I was watching with my fam, and I don't know, it was my brother. My dad was like, "Oh, I don't want to go to overtime or something." I was like, it doesn't matter. Terry's about to score. Or it was something about the Packers because we needed the Packers to lose if we wanted to get in with a loss today. And then I think they said, oh, the Packers might win because of the field goal. And I was like, it doesn't matter. Terry's about to score a touchdown. And guess what? It happened. Very, very happy Terry made that catch. And I mean, I didn't necessarily predict it. I just threw it out there. But it was great to see that happen. Terry breaking the record with a few 2 seconds left. The refs, I don't know what happened there. We should have had more than 6 seconds left on the clock, I thought, but they kind of misspotted, and then the Commanders had to move 3 or 4 yards up. Whatever, 6 seconds they had it was more than enough to run one more play. They ran it. Mariota, heck of a game by Marcus Mariota. A passing touchdown to Terry, to Zach Ertz, had the 33-yard run on 4th and 1. We would have lost if he didn't get that. It was a great play call by Cliff. I thought Cliff had a good game. And then he also had the rushing touchdown where the defender had him in the backfield. So, no, he wasn't Jaden Daniels. Nowhere near as quick and able to escape some of those sacks and, nowhere near as agile. But, he made it work. And his passing was really, good today. And then his running was decent. He did enough to get the Commanders yards. He's a tough guy. Took some hits out there, but, very happy that he got the win, and he'll definitely get a game ball after the game. So yeah, he had a good game. The offense, they just didn't, something about Dallas, man. Dallas just has their number. Same thing happened in the first game against Dallas. They really didn't score until the last 2 possessions against Dallas, or last 3 possessions where they scored a touchdown with a 2-point conversion. So that was 8 points. Then they scored a field goal, I believe, and then a touchdown. So that's what? 11 plus 6 points because they missed extra points, 17 points in like the last 5 minutes of the game. Before that, they weren't doing anything. So the Cowboys definitely have their number, but maybe Jaden Daniels' number. I don't know if it's Jaden Daniels or the Commanders in general or both. But yeah, Marcus Mariota had a good game. Zach Ertz, I think he has 7 touchdowns in the last 7 games, some crazy like that. He has a lot of touchdowns recently. Had 2 against the Falcons, had a touchdown today. I missed that drive and the drive before that, but I was keeping up on my phone. The drive before that where Allen had the sack, I heard it wasn't a great sack, but he got the sack. So hey, that looks good on the stat sheet. If they want to move on from him, maybe trade him. Maybe that brings up the value a little bit. But the defense was decent. Honestly, they were giving up plays and stuff, but they held them in check in the red zone. And, yeah, the Cowboys weren't good in the red zone. Commanders held them in check. Mike Sanders still had some really good plays, some pass breakups, some tackles. Louisville had some plays. Jeremy Chin had a sack, had a nice game, I thought. The D line wasn't good. I didn't think they were good. I didn't think they were getting much pressure. Fowler, didn't see him do much, but he's usually pretty good. I'm trying to think of who else. You didn't see anything from Newton much in terms of rushing the passer. Payne had the boneheaded penalty. I was so confused why they started at the 25 after the kick went out of bounds, but then later on I remember the Payne penalty. But yeah, Payne, yeah, it wasn't pretty today with him. At least I didn't see him make many big plays. I'm trying to think. Benjamin St-Juste, hey, he's the best cornerback in all of football at getting you penalties, unnecessary penalties. And I will say, to his defense, one of those PIs was a little bit ticky-tack. The receiver was, holding his jersey a little bit. Benjamin St-Juste was holding a little bit. But here's the thing. When you consistently get holding penalties and PIs, your reputation is going to get you those PIs. And that is what happens. His reputation, what is it? What's the term? I don't know. Precedes himself, something like that. Whatever. I don't know what I'm even saying, but basically Benjamin St-Juste, his past and his history of getting a lot of PIs, refs study the game, obviously, and they, look at tendencies with players. And with St-Juste, he grabs a lot, and they look for that. And he did it twice in a row. And yeah, again, the second one was a little ticky-tack, but it's the same thing with him every week that he plays. But honestly, I'll give him props. He was better than Michael Davis. It's not saying much because Michael Davis is awful, one of the worst cornerbacks I've ever seen in my life. But St-Juste at least didn't get completely burned all the time. He did get trucked one time, but he made it like one nice tackle. So I'm not going to hate on him too much just because the alternative is not very good with Michael Davis. It's worse. But yeah, they need Lattimore back. I don't know officially what just happened with the games, but the Commanders are either going to play the Bucks, the Rams, or maybe if the Saints just beat the Bucks and then also the Falcons beat the Panthers, which I think both of those were not going to happen when I last checked, then maybe we could play the Falcons, which would be interesting. But it looks like if the Bucks won, then we're going to be playing the Bucks if the Rams end up losing. If the Rams win, we're playing the Rams. That's kind of the whole situation right there. I'll give you guys an update on everything later today in terms of the playoff picture. I forgot one thing I forgot to mention from the game. I'm going to try to keep it short because I got to dip. But the fumble on the punt return was bad. It's not on Crowder. From what I saw, I think it was on Luke McCaffrey. So can't have that. The Commanders defense did well, though. They allowed a field goal. So that's 3 points that take that off from the defense. They didn't allow that. And if anything, they saved points because it could have been a touchdown. So they did really well on that drive. I thought, the defense making some big hits. Mike Sanders still had some really nice tackles. Jeremy Chin had some nice plays. Or Mike Sanders still had some really good pass breakups too, or where he would hit the receiver and the receiver would drop it because it was a strong hit and it was a perfectly timed hit as well. Bobby Wagner made a few big plays in the run game. He is an absolute stud. Shout out Bobby Wagner. I'm trying to think of any other guys that deserve a game ball. Offensive line, Michael Dieter was not very good. We miss Tyler Biotish out there. Hopefully he's good for next week. Brandon Coleman was hurt, but then he came back in, so that's good. And Allegretti had a penalty, but offensive line wasn't great. But then also the Dallas Cowboys, they just have our number on defense. They do really well against our offense, so it is what it is. But the Commanders got the win, 12 wins. That's never happened in my lifetime. First time probably since 1991. Absolutely insane. They might have gotten 12. I don't know. I know they won the Super Bowl that year, 91, 92. So first time in a minute since the Commanders won 12 games in the first year of JD5's career. Jaden Daniels did a lot for this franchise in year one. It's not just him, though. Got to give props to everyone, but he's number one on the list. But obviously Adam Peters, Josh Harris, Dan Quinn, and a lot of the players they brought in. Frankie Louvu, who did get hurt in the game but came back. He made some nice plays. Jeremy Chin, Dorrance Armstrong, Dante Fowler, Mike Sanders. So like a lot of the guys they brought in or drafted have done really well as well. Marcus Mariota, who today had a very good game. He gets an A+. Maybe the sacks, he could have done a little better with that, but he had a good game. The Commanders, I know some people, Cowboys fans, might be like, oh, they got a lucky face mask call. Yeah, I don't think it was a face mask, but they hit Mariota's head. Donovan Wilson hit Mariota's head, and that gets called every single time in the NFL, especially against the Commanders with Dante Fowler. But yeah, that's it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe if you guys are new, and peace.